Hey world, welcome back to Keats Universe and welcome to a brand new episode of my vegan series, The Men Behind the Curtain. So this episode in this series is a little different from previous episodes I've done. Usually I tend to focus on the corruptions and lies of corporations within the animal products arenas. However, I think influencers spreading all sorts of misinformation and misdirecting people in many different ways is an important topic, and we should talk about it. And I do realize that being a content creator, I myself are up to that very same level of scrutiny too. So as a disclaimer, let me just say I don't claim to be an expert. However, I do research these topics and I do provide source links to back up any claims that I make in any video. So in this episode, I am talking about the carnivore diet. For those who don't know what the carnivore diet is, it is an all-meat diet that abstains all plant-based foods. So it's mostly just meat. Some of them do have a little dairy and eggs, but for the most part, it is mostly meat. A lot of the time, it's this weird flex against vegans as a feeble attempt to trigger us. For the record, most of us aren't actually triggered at all. Most of the time, whenever we hear anyone saying that they're trying out the carnivore diet or promoting the carnivore diet, just makes us want to roll our eyes. The first distinction that should be made is that carnivore is just a diet, a rather misguided diet, as we shall soon see. Whereas veganism is a philosophy, it is an ethic of how to live a cruelty-free lifestyle. That philosophy informs us that consuming a plant-based diet is the most ethical choice. But for us vegans, it's not all about food. It is, however, giving up all animal products, so we are causing the least amount of damage to the animals that is as practically as possible to do. But back to the main topic of discussing the carnivore diet. There are a lot of unfounded claims from those in support of the carnivore diet. However, based on a recent article by Harvard, by opting for this diet, you are essentially omitting fruits and vegetables, which is likely to lead to a fiber deficiency, which is quite harmful to our gut health. They will also miss out on carotenoids and polyphenols. These are substances with antioxidant properties that have been linked to aid lowering the risk of chronic diseases such as type 2 diabetes, and even some forms of cancer, which, as most of us will know, all have their own range of various health risks. Additionally, according to Kathleen Zellman, who is a registered dietitian in the United States, while this diet can probably help you lose weight, it can also lead to nutrient deficiencies and is not sustainable. You just can't stay on it very long. Which actually resonates with the growing trend of so many carnivore influencers who eventually have to back out of this diet. Because the fact is, it isn't healthy. And I know there will be those out there who will say, well, you can say the same about the plant-based diet. Well, you might say that. But that doesn't exactly make that statement true. The reality, however, is that a well-planned plant-based diet will give you all of the nutrients that you need. It is, however, recommended that we supplement with vitamin B12, but then again, everyone should be supplementing with vitamin B12. The simple fact is, whatever deficiencies a vegan may or may not encounter will never pale in comparison to the amount of deficiencies the carnivore dieters will be up against. One of the key deficiencies with the carnivore diet is vitamin C. The thing is, when your vitamin C levels are drastically low for a significant and consistent portion of time, you very well may develop symptoms of scurvy. No, it's not just pirates getting scurvy after all. In fact, James Blunt, yes, the singer James Blunt, was also on the carnivore diet, and that is exactly what happened to him. This wasn't a recent occurrence, by the way, but he was trying out the carnivore diet back in the 90s during his student days. He tried it for 2 months, which eventually resulted in Blunt becoming extremely ill and developing symptoms of scurvy. So for a diet like that to be giving you scurvy in such a short amount of time, it couldn't be doing your body any good. Ironically, at the time, he did this to be spiteful towards his vegan and vegetarian classmates and to prove just how manly he was. Oh, James, I really do hope you've learned your lesson, James. Honestly, no human being in this day and age needs to be putting their health in such a state that they are giving themselves scurvy. So I simply must address the miracle cure claims that so many try to link to the carnivore diet. Jordan Peterson is a great example of that. It is interesting that a clinical psychologist somehow thinks that his field of expertise is somehow relevant to nutrition. Not sure how that one works, but okay. And it's even more interesting the way Peterson thinks that the carnivore diet is a one-size-fits-all solution for everything. It's not, by the way. In his recent interview with Elon Musk, Peterson actually tried to claim that the carnivore diet can fix back problems.
That caused some back and shoulder injuries was me foolishly fighting the world champion sumo wrestler and charging him at him at full speed to knock him over, which I did succeed in doing, but
you paid a price for it.
A very, very high price.
Carnivore diet will fix that.
The what, sorry?
Peterson is actually not the first to claim this. Many before him have claimed that the carnivore diet can increase your energy levels and reduce inflammation. But there has never been any control study proving this claim. All we have to go on is anecdotal evidence. It's not real science. Anecdotal testimonies is akin to me giving a person with an inflammation condition sugar pills to take away their inflammation and pain. And that person might even tell you that these sugar pills took away their pain, but for the most part, it's probably just a placebo effect. In other words, it's all a person's perception and not necessarily fact. It is not trusted data whatsoever. Then we have the claim that the carnivore diet can help cure or completely cure an autoimmune disease. So again, there is no credible evidence that there is a direct correlation between being on a carnivore diet and the curing of an autoimmune disease. These claims are yet again highly anecdotal. But aside from that, we need to realize and acknowledge that the carnivore diet is an elimination diet. Many elimination diets can aid you in seeking out foods that may be causing a problem for your health. For example, the first time I started eliminating dairy, I eventually stopped having indigestion issues. I was already vegetarian at the time, so it was pretty easy for me to pinpoint what exactly the problem was. But what the carnivore dieters are doing is they are cutting out all plant-based foods, which is very likely resulting in the prevention from the reaction of a particular plant-based food or a group of plant-based foods that may or may not have been causing a reaction or an intolerance in the body. The issue is they are not actually getting to the root of the problem, because it will be an extremely very rare thing indeed to have an allergic reaction to every single plant-based food on the entire planet. So you are essentially eliminating a massive variety and categories of food based on the assumption, not established facts, and not based on any investigation that may or may not be causing a problem. And while they are not getting to the real issue, they are choosing a solution that cannot be sustained. There are far too many deficiencies associated with the carnivore diet for this to ever be a permanent solution, as any registered dietitian will tell you. So ultimately, the carnivore diet is not the magical cure many would have you believe or try to have you believe it is. When it comes to the carnivore diet, as far as I am concerned, the carnivore community are basically the flat earthers of the nutrition world. The claims from proponents of this diet are wild, aside from the fact that increased meat intake is just terrible for your health. It's even worse for animal welfare. That entire community is extremely cultish, infested with pseudoscience and brainwashing. It's kind of sad, actually. They are destroying their health, their well-being, and adding even more financial support to the industries that are abusing animals. So that's my thoughts on this topic. What are your thoughts on this topic? What do you think of the carnivore diet? Let me know in the comment section down below. And until next time, everyone, bye world. Thanks again for watching and supporting this channel, everyone. Click subscribe to see more, and maybe check out my main channel, Nerdy Keith, for more videos. You can also follow me on my social medias, such as Bluesky and Mastodon.